I would like to wish Aaron Rodgers a very happy 41st birthday, and I would like to congratulate Aaron bleepin' Rodgers for stealing all that money from the New York Jets. 3 years, $113 million, $75 million guaranteed, $38 million a year. It's the all-time NFL robbery. And at least I tried to warn the Jets. No, 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 no. He's the most overhyped player ever. He ain't what he used to be. And the Jets still did it. They swapped places in the first round. They gave the Packers the 13th overall pick, and they moved up to 15. And then they gave the Packers 2 second-round choices for Aaron bleepin' Rodgers. And I said, no, 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 no. Do you realize that since that long ago, far away Super Bowl, that was 14 years ago, Aaron Rodgers is 7-9 in the postseason, and of those 7 wins, several were very, very fortunate to the point of being very, very lucky. But no, people said, you're exaggerating, you're hating, you're nitpicking. No, I'm just telling you the flat-out truth, and I dared everybody to tell me I'm wrong. What happened if we go back to 2019? Aaron Rodgers and a very good Packers team went to San Francisco, and Jimmy G and the 49ers ran them off the field 37-20, and Aaron Rodgers had a QBR that day, scale of 0 to 100, of 23. He was horrible that day. Next year, he was the regular season MVP, and the Packers had the 1 seed and got to play their first ever NFC Championship game at home. And Tom Brady and those first-year Bucks of Tom Brady's, who had gone from 7-9 to that point, they go in and beat Aaron Rodgers after he had it late in the game, 1st and goal at the 8, and he goes incomplete, wild high, wild low, wild high, 0 for 3 until his coach said, okay, that's enough. We're going to take the field goal that made it 31-26. He gave up right before your very eyes on Aaron Rodgers. Then the next year, as the 1 seed and the regular season MVP, Aaron Rodgers lost again in the first playoff game at home to Jimmy G and the 49ers. And then what happened his final season in Green Bay? I tried to warn you. I tried to point it out. It's right before your very eyes. He had a QBR of 41.5 for the whole year, 17 starts, that ranked 26th. And in the final regular season game, it was a playoff for the playoff game against a Detroit that wasn't yet the Lions, the Roaring Lions, and he stunk in that game, and they lost his last home game and missed the playoffs. And the next thing I know, I'm watching Hard Knocks with the Jets, and they're crowning him. It's as if Aaron had just won the Super Bowl and then gone to the Jets. The Super Bowl was 14 years ago. And the Jets aren't hard knocking him. They're proclaiming him the GOAT. And I said, well, you didn't just sign Brady. This is Aaron bleepin' Rodgers. All I heard was GOAT, 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 Super Bowl, here we come. And I said, that's just straight mythology. You can't back any of that up. And then, of course, last year, first game last year, Monday Night Football, maybe it was almost fortunate in some ways for Aaron Rodgers that he tore his Achilles. Now, I'm knocking on wood. I don't wish any of that on anybody, but it turned him back into a very sympathetic figure for a whole year. Remember how he's coming back earlier than anybody's ever come back from Achilles surgery. And I said, because I have some close friends who are orthopedic surgeons, they said there's no way he's going to come back and play any games this year. And by the way, he didn't. But he got a lot of sympathy tour out of that after all that COVID business about where he lied about whether he'd been vaccinated or not. All of a sudden, he was a sympathetic figure. He was the toast of New York. He was the big dog in the Big Apple. And I'm like, I don't get any of this. And then this year, we go into this year, I'm reading several experts picking the Jets to either make the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl. And I flat out publicly laughed out loud at all that and told you these Jets will miss the playoffs. They won't not only not make the Super Bowl, they will miss the playoffs, I said before this season started. And this year, Aaron Rodgers has a QBR of 48-ish, and it ranks 25th. He's 25th. So he was 26th the last full year of starting, down to 25th this year. And over the last 2 full years of starting, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not making any of this up, Aaron Rodgers is 11-18 as a starting quarterback. That final year in Green Bay, in this first full year of starting with the Jets, he's 11-18 as the Jets have fallen to 3-9. He's career low across the board in stats, yards per attempt, career low, passer rating, career low. He's turned into, right before your very eyes, a dink and dunk artist. Why is that? Because he's lost his heart for football. He's lost his stomach for football. He doesn't want to get hit anymore. He just gets rid of it. I saw a stat where in yesterday's game, Sunday's game, yet another loss, this one to Seattle, on downfield throws of 10 or more yards, Aaron Rodgers was 2 of 14 because it looks like he doesn't have a lot of arm left. He looks, to use LeBron's favorite word, washed. Although LeBron isn't even close to being washed, and it looks to me like Aaron Rodgers has hit the proverbial wall, fallen off the proverbial cliff right before your very eyes. He's not a workout warrior. He doesn't do the work that must be done the way LeBron is still doing it and the way Tom Brady did it all the way up to age 45. Did Tom fear he was about to fall off the cliff if he went to 46? Maybe so. I still thought he played at a much higher level at 45 than Aaron has played at either 40 this year, as he's just now turning 41. And then if we go back to the 38-year-old season, the 37-year-old season, Tom was playing at a much higher level at 45 than Aaron Rodgers is now. I don't see anything left. And so I was the first to stand up when the Jets fired their head coach and say, no, it's his fault. It's Aaron's fault. He's Aaron Rodgers. And then the Jets fired their GM, and I was the first one to stand up and say, no, it's his fault. And the Jets went and got him Devontae Adams on top of Garrett Wilson. Those are 2 top 10 receivers. And I said, no, it's his fault. Breece Hall can run the football, though you can't really tell right now, but no, it's his fault. It's the quarterback's fault. 5 times this year. 5 times Aaron Rodgers has had late last-ditch drive chances to go win games, and he's 0 for 5. And each time it was somebody else's fault. It's Mike Williams. It's a lot of that's all I get from Aaron Rodgers, because that's all we've ever gotten from Aaron Rodgers. There were so many stories dating back to my friend Greg Jennings in Green Bay of how he alienated the receiver corps because he was constantly showing them up on the field. Like, what do you do? Go that way. I've said again and again and again, he's the all-time finger-pointing, blame-deflecting diva. And he's gotten away with it for so long because he won 4 MVPs. But if you look hard at postseason, he had one great run, but it was a road wildcard run that nobody saw coming and nobody expected much. There was little to no pressure. Remember how they went on the road and barely survived Mike Vick in Philadelphia? Then they did blow out Atlanta at Atlanta, Matt Ryan. I give you that one. Then they barely survived Jay Cutler, my Vanderbilt quarterback, as he rode the exercise bike through the second half with a sprained knee. And the immortal Caleb Haney nearly did in Aaron Rodgers in the second half when Aaron nearly threw a pick 6 to Urlacher. They barely survived that game, and then they got to play a Pittsburgh team that Polamalu had a pulled hamstring, shouldn't have even tried to play. Ryan Clark at that point was on his last legs. And Aaron was great. He had one great game. He was the MVP, and he hit my friend Greg Jennings with a beautiful post pass touchdown that broke the game open. I give you that. It was 14 years ago. The most overhyped player, I think, in the history of pro football. If you look hard at his postseason achievements and you look at the wins he's had since the Super Bowl and the postseason, it's what he beat Joe Webb one year. Joe Webb's a receiver who had to play quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Remember, Odell took his receiving core down to South Beach to get ready for his first ever playoff game on the frozen tundra at Lambeau. Aaron benefited from that. Remember, Odell dropped a third down pass on the first series, then dropped a touchdown pass on the second series from Eli. Looked like he was playoff Eli hot. That's the kind of thing that Aaron kept benefiting from. Remember the game at Jerry World when Mason Crossbar hit those two intergalactic field goals from 51 yards and 55 yards, the other way around, 55 and then 51? Remember Dallas playing that ridiculous prevent defense and Aaron got to play pitch and catch for that big first down on 3rd and forever? He's been very blessed, very fortunate, and he has not done the kind of work that LeBron and Tom Brady have done to get where they were and where they are right now with LeBron. It's Tyrod Taylor time. Very close. They say they're going to go with Aaron again one more time, but Tyrod's going to have to play for this team because Tyrod right now is better and obviously more mobile and gutsier and more of a playmaker than Aaron Rodgers is. It has actually come to this for Aaron Rodgers. And I hate to say it, but I told you so, and I told you so, and I told you so some more.